need to celebrate that fact that this is one of the most diverse city councils and that Latinas are here in large numbers and we're women. Traditionally, we see Latino men represented in these halls of power, and we are seeing now a shift. For me, it's a reflection that the majority of my electorate is women, about 54%, and that it is about time that we have the positions that reflect our electorate and represent our communities, right?
Latinas are reflecting the communities they represent and also holding important leadership roles within the New York City Council. De La Rosa is the chair of the Civil Service and Labor Committee. Amanda Farias chairs the Economic Development Committee.
I'm not only the first woman to chair this committee, but I'm actually the first Latino, period, to ever chair this committee. And so I'm filling in a spot that means I oversee a lot of different aspects of the city that are really important, not only to the Latino community, but just the city, period. I'm overseeing tourism and what does economic recovery actually mean? How do we get industries back on target for hitting their goals and people back into our communities locally and here in Manhattan? I get to oversee the NYC ferry system, which is really important to me, particularly because the Bronx has 2 ferry landings and I have one in my community.
These Latinas say their lived experiences in intergenerational homes have inspired them to push policies that can grant stability to Latino families, such as housing and worker protections.
We are focused on making sure that diversity is not just a talking point, but that the civil service exam, for example, reflects the needs of our community so that we can compete and be promoted. It's not enough to say we have Latinos at this agency. We need us running these agencies. We need women in power. We need to make sure that we are opening the spaces for our community to really have a voice of leadership. As a Dominican, we are 1 in 8 New Yorkers is Dominican. As Latinos, we are the majority minority community in this city. And it is about time that we get our due respect and that we are reflected at all levels of government.
Having Carmen de la Rosa, the councilwoman representing Upper Manhattan in one of the most dense, probably has been in the past one of the most dense Latino communities in the city, is critical that this voice that represents workers, be a woman and it be a Latina. That's an amazing thing. Probably the first Latina to chair such a position. I think probably the first Latino to chair it, at least in the city. And so I think that's a critical piece.
Overall, Latinos now make up 30% of the 51-member body. 10 of the 15 Latino council members are women. This increase, experts say, is a big win for representation, as it matches the share of the Latino population in the city.
But for the first time, we have parity when it comes to ethnic majorities in terms of the Latinos, with the 28.3% of the city. We now have 30% of the city council, and then so much more women, really indicative of the realities that we have power if we can come together and make that happen.
With more Latinas and Latinos at the city council level, it puts us a step closer to getting Latinos elected at a citywide level. Maybe we'll get a Latina mayor in the near future. For Latinas, I am Marlene Peralta.